not skip over this video. The last thing that anyone wants to talk about is credit. Where are the home videos? Let's talk about that. You don't have to worry about interest. It's 1,000 times easier to rent, and you qualify for larger loans. And maybe the best part, hold for dramatic effect. Don't have to put a deposit down by phone. Fortunately for us, a credit specialist, Oscar, has agreed to be interviewed by myself so that we can go through this treacherous journey of credit together.
My name is Oscar. I've been on credit repair for more than 10 years. I've seen it all. So don't be afraid to ask me any questions.
What's the worst thing you ever seen in your experience?
People with like 20, 30 collections, maybe a few duplicates. They owe the same collection and it gets sold to another collection company, to another collection, and so on.
First question,
Bring them on.
what exactly is a credit report?
A credit report. A credit report is basically a report based on yourself, what kind of consumer you are. If you're a good consumer, that means that you're doing your payments on time, that you're not maximizing your credit cards. So if you're a good consumer, you get a high FICO score. But if you start falling behind on your payments, start paying them 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then they go into collections, and you start piling up collections, that means that you're a poor consumer, a bad consumer. So you get a low FICO score.
Does paying, let's say if I pay the minimum, right? What is it, like $20, $40?
Yes.
If I pay the minimum, would that affect my credit score?
No, it actually doesn't. The more you keep the account open, the better.
Yeah.
The better. Let's say you open an account with Home Depot.
Okay.
You open a $300 account, and you use only $50. So what you want to do is keep the payments.
Yeah.
Don't pay it off in the first payment because you're not going to create a profile for yourself. Pay the minimum. Keep the payments on time so you could keep a record of what kind of consumer you are. You could create a profile and a record.
So one thing that I think personally is I usually try paying it off in a month. Is that bad?
It's not bad, but it's always good to keep them alive, like to keep the payments. Just use here and there. You could have maybe 5 to 10 credit cards with zero balance, but they could be open. They have to be open, and you have to use them once in a while.
Doing research for this video, I did see that it's good to have multiple open, and it's really bad to close one.
Yes.
Why is that?
If you have multiple credit cards open, that means that if you're in crisis, you have credit cards to use.
Right.
So it helps you out. But if you close them, you're not gonna have. In the case of an emergency, you're not gonna have cards to borrow.
Or access to more money.
Or access, right? Yes. So it does help.
That does make sense. So how exactly does credit repair work?
Just like there's guidelines and regulations for the consumer, for
Right.
you and me, there's guidelines and regulations for the collection companies, for the credit bureaus, for the creditors. So credit repair basically is an investigation of a derogatory or a negative account. They have 30 days to respond on any dispute that you may have. So if they don't respond within 30 days, that collection or derogatory account needs to get removed. Or it does get removed permanently.
No matter how much it is, even if it's $5,000 in
Yes.
debt, if they don't respond within the 30 days,
Yes.
that's it?
Yes. If they don't respond within 30 days, that collection gets removed permanently. So what they could do it, but I haven't seen them do it. They could resell it to another collection company, and that collection company could report it again, but then that'll be a third party.
Off camera, you were telling me that it's usual that they don't respond in the 30 days?
Yes, they don't respond. A lot of times they don't respond within 30 days because, they might be short on staff, or they might have to go back into the files to them, or I don't know, anything can happen.
Right.
So I've seen it all. I've seen anything from judgments, from collections, medical bills get removed from your credit report.
Even medical bills?
Yes.
So for example, if, worse things have happened, bad things happen, where I just fall, right?
Yeah.
and then an ambulance is called 911. The ambulance comes, the helicopter comes, they rush me to the most expensive hospital, like you were saying. Wow,
Yeah, the most
I
expensive.
have to pay that if I don't have insurance?
Um, a lot of times I've seen it on truck drivers where they do have insurance. They get admitted to hospitals after the ambulance, the helicopter, and the the emergency room, and they have insurance, they have medical, or they have anything, and the hospital still doesn't process the paperwork right, and they still get charged that bill.
Wow.
Yes, and even if you don't have it, we could still fight it. If you don't have insurance or anything, it gets charged. You get charged with that bill, so it could still get removed from your credit report.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's always good to know. Next
Yes, sir.
question. How do derogatory and late payment accounts get removed?
Um, the derogatory is basically a negative account. It could be a late payment, it could be a collection, it could be I don't know, a judgment.
Does
could
it
be
mean, is it just a late payment, or does it qualify as derogatory if I owe money?
Yes. No. If you owe money, like a collection,
Yeah.
that is a derogatory account. So if you run your credit report, there's a section where it says derogatory credit, and you're gonna see them all there: late payments, collections, judgments, tax liens, I don't know, alimony, child support. You're gonna see it all there. Yeah, but they do get removed. It's easy to remove them. It's just a process which requires cooperation from yourself and from whoever needs the help and whoever is helping you out. So it's a process.
So what I'm understanding from you is a credit report specialist like yourself is a lot like a real estate agent that helps, informs, as well as, what's the
Yes.
word I'm looking for? Represents.
Represent. We represent you. Um, we have the time and the resources to help you. We do this all the time. I always explain it like this. Let's say you have to do your oil change, but if you do it yourself, you don't have the tools, you don't have the space, you're gonna make a big mess. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So you go to a mechanic, the mechanic is gonna do it in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's gonna fix it really good. Because he's a specialist, and that's basically what I would do. What a credit specialist does. They help you fix, whatever's messing up on your credit. Does not hurt your credit report. I think it would only hurt your credit report
Right.
if you use multiple credit repair companies to remove your collection,
Right.
and another one might fight to settle your collection. So it's gonna be a mess.
Personally, what do you think is better, removing it completely or trying to settle it for less?
First attempt that we do is to remove it completely.
Right.
If sometimes what they do is they settle. They try to settle an account for 50% or less, which is sometimes really good really good settlement. I seen this one account. They owed $1,200 on this collection, and they got a settlement for $300. So that was a good settlement. So in this case, what you do, you settle, and you request a deletion letter. The deletion letter removes it from your credit report permanently.
Once I pay off my car, is that going to increase my credit or is it going to decrease it?
No, it's going to increase it.
Okay.
You're going to have an account with zero balance, and you're going to have an account with so much life in it, like so many months, maybe like 5 years, 60 months.
Right.
And that helps your FICO score. That means that you hold that account and you were a good consumer, and you prove yourself that you could hold that debt. And when you compare that to a house, a bank is going to see, oh, this guy could hold the debt. A car, he paid this car on time, and there was no late payments, so we're going to give him credit. We're going to give him a loan to buy a house.
So for example, the way I like to think about it myself was, okay, the car company gives me this loan for $50,000. Mortgage company is more likely to give me a loan of $150,000 XYZ more, because they show, oh, okay, this guy was able to pay for this on time, never had any late payments. Is that the right thought?
Yes. So if you for example, the bank, the lender, you could buy a house with no credit, but you get a high interest rate. But if you have a good FICO score, the bank is going to see that you were good with all the accounts. So keep in mind that the one buying the house is the bank. The bank is releasing their money, and they want to make sure that that money is gonna get paid back
Right.
by somebody that knows how to make a payment.
Of course.
So of course, yeah. So if you have multiple accounts that you pay them on time, so the bank is gonna see that, and the bank is gonna give you. You're gonna have a good FICO score. The bank is gonna give you a low interest rate, and they're not gonna put no fight on lending you the money.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt.
What are some free tips to increase your FICO score?
One of them that I like to share a lot is that let's say for example that you have a credit card with Home Depot.
Right.
Well, Home Depot always gives credit to people.
I think there's something that you like about Home Depot.
Let's say you have a credit card for like $500 and you paid it on time for 3 to 6 months. So your limit right there is $500. And this can happen with any other credit cards, Macy's, JCPenney. Just you keep your payments on time, about 6 months. You call them up and tell them that you want a credit increase. So they're gonna increase your credit from, sometimes they do it from $500 to $2,000 to $3,000.
Sometimes they do it without you even asking, right?
Yeah, sometimes they send you
An increase.
an increase on a credit offer, but you could call them yourself. You call them yourself. You could call all of them, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes all of them they give you a credit increase. Let's say on that $500 credit account, you only use like $200. So from $500 you ask for a credit increase of $3,000. They'll give it to you. So you're gonna have a balance of $200 with a credit availability of $3,000. So you're gonna have like 2% of that card.
So would you recommend doing the research for this? And I read that it's always good to be within 30% of your entire
Availability, it's 500, so you want to use 30%, which is I think $150 or less. Yes, and just don't use more than that, and you'll be all right on all the accounts, all the credit cards. If you have a $10,000 credit card, you just use like I don't know, 1,500 or less, but just keep it low. Don't increase it. If you increase it, you're gonna show that you're hurting for money, and you're in a tight spot. So they're not gonna offer you credit cards.
So it's an indication, statistically speaking, that if you use more than 30%, usually is because you're like trying to live off of the credit.
Yes.
Interesting. I never viewed it that way.
Yeah, and that's how credit companies are gonna see it. They're gonna see the activity on your credit cards, that your balances keep going up. Maybe within 30 days they went up like I don't know $1,000. So they're gonna see that, and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, this consumer might not pay us back. So they might hold back from to all that.
All right, this question was asked by Neighborhood Alone Guy. Can 30 or 60-day late mortgage payments be removed?
Yes, they could get removed.
Next question.
Yeah, next question, please.
How exactly do they get removed?
They could get removed through the bureaus. First attempt is through the bureaus.
Yeah.
And if it comes back verifiable, then you deal with it with the mortgage company. And they have another credit department, and you deal with them, and you can negotiate it. You could have it removed. I mean, there's different process. You know, you can have them review their files or dispute their files. There's so many ways to do it.
And if you want to know all the ways, you got to set up an appointment with Oscar. Info's going to be right there, and he's going to help you go from $50,000 in credit debt to none.
Yes, collection, and your FICO score is going to go up.
Let's say if I'm just starting, right? This is just a scenario. If I'm just starting, what do you think I should do to increase my credit score to 850 as soon as possible?
Okay. That's an easy one. You could, if you have a friend or family that has a credit card open, let's say your brother or your sister, they have a credit card open for like a year or two, they could call the company and say, I wanna add an authorized user to my credit card, specifically to increase their credit. You could tell them that, specifically to increase their credit, and they'll ask you the right questions, and that credit will piggyback to your credit profile.
So
That's one way to do it.
So let's say if I did that, right? Let's say if I do it with my mom. She has 670. Would I have 670 from 0 to 670?
You have closer to that because you're gonna be an authorized user. Remember, yeah. But you'll be surprised. You might end up having the same FICO score.
Okay.
And that's gonna open your doors, so you could get approved to other credit cards.
Okay. So this is a personal one.
Okay.
How can I go from my I'm about 740 credit score. How can I get to 850? Because is nitty and gritty with those numbers. It goes back and forth, right?
Yes.
So how does one? I know that people have all these benefits, 850. How can myself and other individuals like yourself get as close to 850 as possible?
There's ways to do it without spending money. One of them, like I mentioned, it's ask for a credit increase. You'll be surprised. They give you like close to 100 FICO points extra.
Oh shit!
Credit increase. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And also having people add you to their credit cards. Having people add you to their credit cards as an authorized user. Another way, if you want to spend money, is if you have a high balance, leave your balance to a 30% minimum, and you'll get a good FICO score.
One thing I have seen that before I used to have bad credit, right? And then I started paying it off, and a lot of times I do like telling people, if you have no credit, or even if you have bad credit, no one wants to give you a card, right? Get a prepaid credit card. What is your view on a prepaid credit?
Oh, the prepaid credit cards, they also do help you. The banks, like let's say, the banks, they do offer it, which you use those. You're basically borrowing against yourself, but you have to pay it back, and they they report it to the credit bureaus. It's another easy way to do it.
And then, what is the most amount of money you have helped people save?
Oh, the most amount of money. Well, the most I've seen, I have to say, it was back in the recession, when people were having like 20, 30 collections, credit cards, because people were telling them not to pay so they could get a loan modification. So I've seen anything, I don't know, from 30, 40, 50 collections, credit cards. And some of them duplicate credit cards, collection companies. So I don't know, it's been maybe up to like $50,000 more.
$50,000.
Yeah, and I helped them remove it and settle, and they were happy.
Where can people contact you, Oscar?
They could call me, text me anytime I'm available.
And then your card is going to be put up to the top right. So just put your finger up there. It's going to be right there. Right. All his info is going to be right there. So if you are in Southern California, can it be also anywhere in California?
Yeah, it could be across the country.
Anywhere. Yes, if you are in the United States, and if you owe credit, if you are in credit card debt, hit up Oscar.
Yes, I have people in Florida, Texas, Arizona, Washington, and all California. So,
all of California too.
Because the credit bureaus, they service the U.S.
So can they meet you in person, online, or Zoom?
Either way, or a phone call. Once they see that I help your brother or your sister or your father, your mother, you're gonna trust me. Sometimes I get people, I just want to sign up. That's it. Yeah, because they've seen it firsthand. Yeah. So you'll see about that. What is identity theft? When somebody breaks into your personal information, maybe uses your social security, your name, date of birth, and they start opening accounts. A lot of these times, somebody around you, somebody that breaks into your information, that has access to your information. So what do you do then? A way to remove all of those accounts. If you don't recognize them, you could remove them. There is a form that is called identity theft affidavit that needs to get notarized. And right there you list all the accounts that don't belong to you. It could be credit cards, it could be installment accounts, it could be a car. And you don't have to point fingers. There's a section there and it asks you if you know who it was.
Yeah.
Even though you do, if you know who it was, you don't have to put nothing there. So you don't have to put, it was my brother, it was my friend or my relative. You don't have to put none of that. So that questionnaire, you just put that you don't know, and it gets notarized, and it gets, we prepare a letter and we send it to all the credit bureaus, and to the collectors, to the credit companies, and they have to accept that. That's part of the guidance to help you improve your credit. Even if the account is yours, we could include it too, because those accounts, those collection companies, creditors, they have to provide the paperwork, the contract, anything you sign, and if it doesn't match your signature, if it doesn't match any information, they have to invalidate it. They have to remove it from your credit report permanently. So if you were a victim of identity theft, you shouldn't be worried. You shouldn't be a slave to bad credit for the rest of your life. I know people that had bad credit because of identity theft for years and years and years. And they're afraid to do anything because they don't want somebody to get in trouble. So don't even worry about that. I'll help you out with that too.
I like that. I feel like you got really comfortable in the last day. Let's do this.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. I got you.
So have you personally helped any people that have had their identity stolen?
Yes. I helped a few people. Sometimes what happens is that they have the same name or the same address. I've seen it sometimes on a father, son, or juniors or I don't know, maybe neighbors, and they look into their mail, and they start using their information, and they start using the credit card. So that's what happens. So I helped about a lot of people. I helped them out with identity theft. Sometimes the other user, the person that stole the credit, lives in another state. Yeah. And they know about it.
Or maybe in another country.
Yeah, in another country too. And they start using their information and doing business and all that. So and it shows up on your credit report. So if you identify those, she has a popular name, like the Hernandez, Garcia,
Maria.
Lopez. You know what I mean? Yeah. They get mixed up. So they start using their information, their name, address, and social, and they start getting accounts on their credit, because that's because somebody else used their identity. So that has a solution too.
Awesome. So credit repair is more than just my credit is bad, help me out. It's also if this person ruined my credit.
Yes.
What are other things that credit repair specialists like yourself do help with that a lot of people may or may not know?
Basically, helping you, training you how to get your credit increase. Mostly to help you with your ultimate goal. I know a lot of people have that goal of buying a house. That's the ultimate goal, to build your credit, to buy your house. So that's another thing we help them out with too. Buy them a house.
Awesome. And a lot of times, I don't think a lot of people do really know that there is credit repair specialists to help you out there.
Yes.
I know that a lot of times, especially personally from people that I do know, my credit's bad, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what to do. How can I fix it? Yeah. My husband ruined my credit for me.
Yes.
Some stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of accounts, a lot of accounts come from previous relationships, marriages, things, businesses, deals that gone wrong. So when that happens, there's a solution for that too. You got stuck with a collection that doesn't belong to you. We could dig into that account too. But everything's good. And the thing is that just be careful when hiring a credit repair company, because a lot of times they just get your money and they disappear. And another thing is that you could settle that account. So I'm not telling you not to pay for it, not to pay it, not to. That's a bad thing. The first stop is to investigate it. It's totally legal. There's nothing bad here. If they don't follow the rules, that's not on you. That's on them. You're not holding yourself. You're not denying yourself from paying it. You just want to make sure everything's on file. Credit is good. It's not only good for a car. It's good for a job, for an apartment, for sometimes for relationships, you know, you wanna you wanna. That's another topic. But if you you know, if let's say you have really good credit and the other person has really bad credit,
Yeah.
you know, so
You should just keep moving.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's another topic.
Or
Yeah, it's good for a lot of things.
Or if you do love them, you call a credit repair specialist. You call
Right there.
Oscar to help your significant other
Yes,
credit,
yes.
and then you guys could get married.
Yeah, exactly. You guys could have really good credit, buy a house, and buy a car.
Actually,
building.
you
Yeah,
just
that's a
made me
good
think
point.
about a question. Let's say, for example, two people are getting married, right? Let's say
Okay.
they each have 740 credit score.
Mhm.
Does it count as 1400?
Um, well, that's double power right there. But yeah, it does help that if you're buying a house and you have a 700 FICO score, you said 700, right? 700,
Yeah.
and your spouse has a 500 FICO score. So the bank goes with the lowest one. Yeah, always. They always go with the most riskier one. That's the one that they pay attention to. They don't pay attention if you have an 800 and they give you a good interest rate. They keep in mind the one that has the low FICO score. So if both of you guys have a 700 FICO score, you guys get the works, best terms. They don't ask for so much paperwork from you. They don't ask for so much proof of income. You know, so if both of you have a 700 FICO score, yeah, it's like if both of you guys have 1,400 points. Yes, but if you have a 700 FICO score and she has a 500 FICO score, guess what? Both of you guys have 500 FICO score.
See, that's why people say when they're dating, they ask, especially when you're older, what's your credit score?
Yes.
So you're here to hear first from a credit repair specialist. The first question to ask on a date is, what is your credit score?
Okay, that could be one.
Maybe not the first one.
The financial one, yes.
Awesome. I think one of the things, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but all of my expenses for the month are paid on my credit card.
Yeah.
And then I pay it off on my debit after. You know, like
okay.
I pay my credit, basically.
Yes, yes.
I worded it wrong. But you think that's good, or should I have stuff that I just pay debit?
No, that's a good system. If you use a debit card, I mean a credit card, you use your debit card, and it also helps if you let's say your credit card is due on the 24th, just an example, and if you pay it on the 20th, it does give you points. If you pay 5 days or more earlier, it does give you points.
I didn't know if you pay it off earlier. So let's say
Yeah, it does.
let's say I owe 500, right, for the month. If I pay off the 500 before, is it better? Because one thing that, to go back to what you were saying, is if, you know, let a little bit carry over. Maybe I let like $50 carry over from that 500.
Okay, yeah.
Is that good or is that bad?
No, that's good. I mean, if you leave a balance behind,
Yeah.
you know that's good. You're keeping the card active, alive. There's activity. There's activity.
I would recommend personally, I don't know about Oscar, is all of your expenses should be paid by credit, so there's always active. It's always active.
Yeah.
Because if you pay off one month, you're on the next month, and you already started spending money, so it's
Okay.
always going to be going. It's a loop.
Yes. Because those are obligations that need to get paid no matter what. Yeah, so it's like a loop. Yes. If you pay a few days before, it does give you credit. Yes. Oh, and also if you have it on auto pay too, if you have it on auto pay, you know, it shows consistency.
Also, sometimes they remove like $3, $4, something like that,
Yes,
if it's
yes.
an auto.
So it helps you as a consumer with your monthly expenses. That's about it too. If I think of something else, that might be part two.
Like for part 2, I hope that this does inform each and every one of you guys to help you guys get better credit. Yeah. Thank you so
There's
much
more
again,
information,
Oscar.
so stay tuned.